Yes, do. For old time's sake.
Ewan Fripp was an old friend of Alfred Pennyworth. He and Alfred used to be friends at school until they both departed ways due to their careers. Ewan went on to become an explorer and a collector of historical artifacts, where somewhere along his journeys, he became Weasley, greedy, and scummy. He also seems to believe that he's better than most, as we'll see with his smug and cocky attitude. Other than that though, there's really not much else to say about Ewan, so let me quickly go ahead and mention the episode that I'll be going over and discuss how I'll break it down. The episode we'll be looking at is titled The Icy Depths, and like always, there will be some skips taken within the episode itself, but as usual, that's just to stay focused on our villain, if you even want to call him that, of the day. With all that said, let's dive right into The Icy Depths. The episode begins with Ewan attending an auction for a very unique and special umbrella. The Penguin then busted into the auction in order to steal the umbrella, only to encounter the Batman. However, after knocking Penguin back, Mr. Freeze makes a surprise appearance, making the whole situation a lot more complicated. After a rough fight, and after the umbrella falls off the ice path, Ewan silently took the umbrella without any of the three noticing. Ewan then goes to Wayne Manor to meet his old friend, Alfred Pennyworth. Ewan states that he's looking for a book that has one of its very rare prints in the Wayne Library. However, unbeknownst to them, one of Penguin's birds was spying on them. There's really not much to say about Ewan in the beginning, as Ewan doesn't talk and is only shown being concerned about the umbrella during Batman's fight with the villains. However, the moment Ewan steps foot inside Wayne Manor is whenever that smug attitude that I mentioned surfaces. We also see that Ewan is no stranger to thievery, as after finding the book, he rips the one page that he needs out of the book and takes it. Ewan then states that he's leaving for another adventure, and Bruce insists that Alfred should go with him, to which Ewan agrees in order to seem less suspicious. After Ewan and Alfred embark on their adventure, Ewan reveals that they're looking for treasure stolen from the royal palace by the Cobblepots in 1879, which sparks the interest of Alfred. They then find a vault, only to be interrupted by the Penguin. With the umbrella, Penguin opens the vault, only to find a lens inside, and then throws it. Before locking Penguin inside the vault, Ewan grabs the lens and the umbrella, which reveals that the real treasure is between 4 Gotham landmarks. Ewan and Alfred then run away from Penguin after he escapes, but both were nevertheless caught, just by different villains. Again, there's really not much to say about Ewan during all of this, however, his smug and cocky attitude does once again surface throughout it all. He also gives Alfred the umbrella, hoping that will distract the villains, which tells us that he only cares about preserving his own life. As Alfred and Mr. Freeze find the location of the treasure, Ewan and the Penguin are already in a boat heading there. Ewan then reveals that Chesterfield Cobblepot sank the ship that had the treasure in it rather than letting it be captured by American authorities. Mr. Freeze then goes on to ice the bay and slides down a hole in order to get the treasure, with Penguin soon following after him. Batman then arrives and tells Alfred and Ewan to stay put, but Ewan followed anyway, leaving Alfred no choice but to follow as well. As Ewan reached the treasure, he found Batman fighting the Penguin and Mr. Freeze, so he helped himself to the treasure. Ewan tried to take more, but Batman then arrives and tells him that they either leave or drown. It's here where we see that greed I mentioned in the beginning coming into play, as Ewan is not only extremely disappointed, but he also genuinely hesitates after Batman tells them their options. His greed almost had such a grip on him that he would run the possibility of death if it meant he could become rich. However, unlike most of the greedy people within Gotham, Ewan was actually able to leave the treasure behind. The three then left, while the two villains fought until the waves carried them and the treasure away. The treasure was then lost in the water, but the police managed to locate and capture the villains. Ewan was sad about the treasure being lost, but Alfred tells him what was in the past should remain in the past, and suggested the same for the two of them, ending their friendship. And that would be the last time we ever saw Ewan and Fripp. So, I know I said this a lot by now, but there's really not much to say about Ewan. He's a rather simple man with a rather simple motive. And like most people who are obsessed with money and the status that it brings, he's smug and pretentious. He's also a cocky and greedy man who only truly cares for himself. Well, himself and money, of course. Outside of that though, he only uses people for potential gain, which circles back to what I said about him being scummy. But now, moving off of the life and personality of Ewan and on to his design and voice actor. The design of Ewan is honestly perfect as it fits the character brilliantly. It not only gives off the "I'm better than you" vibes, but it also goes with the treasure hunting theme of the episode. However, that's sadly about all I can say when it comes to Ewan's design. It's simple, as it should be, and it's perfect for what it is. So now we'll move on to Ewan Fripp's voice actor, with that being Ian Abercrombie. And for those that didn't know, he played Chancellor Palpatine / Darth Sidious in the Star Wars The Clone Wars series, Ambrose in the movie Rango, and Alfred Pennyworth in the Birds of Prey series, as well as many, and I do mean many, other great roles. So huge shout out to the late great Ian Abercrombie. With all that said though, this has been the entitled failure that is Ewan Fripp. If you made it this far into the video, let me know who you prefer more, Ewan Fripp or Reginald Payne from Gotham. For me, it's easily Reggie. Also, like always, huge shout out to Mercenary X84 and Best Man Gamer for still being members. I can't thank y'all enough for all of the support, and I know that's getting old, but I really mean it. I truly appreciate the love you both show me, as it seriously means a lot to me. And the same goes for everyone else. Thank you all so much for the patience, the love, and the support. I really do appreciate it. But with my ramblings finally out the way, it's been ugly, and I'll see y'all in the next one.